to me. Played the whore on the Lord and served other gods. Remember the days of old, we the lost tribes. They don't believe the Bible, they say a white man wrote it, but still celebrate them holidays from white men, don't they? Like Christmas and Thanksgiving appetites. I don't even see my closest family half the time. Going out ain't an option, I won't compromise. I got integrity and more heart than Valentine. Kyrie tweeted a book they sell on Amazon, owned by the same folks that told them to apologize. Remember slaves couldn't read, wasn't allowed, so it's meaning when I tell you I'm black and I'm proud. Murdered us with the sword, that's how we learned religion. Community standards violate my First Amendment. Discontinue from my heritage under these bastards. Life a bitch, they make up lies and give you public lashes. I understand they confused by who the devil is. Why my people get so mad when I tell them this? Valley of dry bones, my niggas skeletons. It's hectic out there, hope you checking on your relatives. Brotherhood, that's what my weapon is. And I never let these crackers take it from you. Real talk, you probably never heard this all of your life. Be careful, cause that thing you love, it'll cost you your life. Long as we got each other, my nigga. Cause we build this shit on brotherhood. Long as we got each other, my nigga.
Yeah.
We build this shit.
Nigga, I done lost family, I done lost friends. Day one, niggas thought was riding to the end. Still showed up, put in that work. Hide behind a smile while I'm walking with this hearse. Some nights I felt alone, most nights I felt cold. Some nights I drove around, I ain't wanna go home. Nigga, I ain't never been, nah, I ain't never fold. Follow orders like a soldier doing what I'm told. Even when the council wasn't making any sense, I ain't never doubted, I just put it to the test. Days I was fucked up and down to my last cent. Reaching in my pockets, only coming up with lint. I'm talking even on the days that I couldn't pay my rent. I put it down for my brothers, ain't spared no expense. If I ever got bent, caused an offense, please forgive you, brother, Lord, that ain't what I meant. See that brotherhood a weapon, fight against deception. When something taken from you, then it's just a blessing. Shorty really loved me, gave me everything she got. And I'm sorry, baby girl, if I ever broke your heart. Man, mistakes that I made, don't know if they'll fade. Moving with a heavy heart, living with the pain. Take away the shame, wash away the stain. Praying to the Lord for the days that I was Cain. Sheesh.
Long as we got each other, my nigga. Cause we build this shit on brotherhood. Long as we got each other, my nigga. Cause we build this shit on brotherhood.
Yes. Y'all by Shimmy, I was shy rock a thumb. I was Shimon all the thumb by Shimmy, I was shy. To the brothers, to the sisters, we in here live. Scripture breakdown class, Barakatah Yahweh, why Yahweh Shah. We in here ready to get it on, get it on. Shalom, shalom, shalom. To the Akim, to the Akwadium, to the brothers, to the sisters. You understand, Most High in Christ. We in here ready to get it on. Everybody in here. We talking about the devastating effects of white supremacy. Devastating effects. We're gonna give everybody a few moments to get in here. Y'all get in here. These effects are so deep that we don't even realize just how much our oppressor being and ruling over us. We don't realize the devastating effects that we have. That is we've lived through our entire lives, and we don't even realize just how deep these effects, how deep these things go that our oppressor has instilled in us, even at different ages. You understand, different generations cannot begin to understand without the spirit of the Most High, without the priests and prophets of the Lord and the ISUPK under Commanding General Yohana, is it's not even possible to understand just how much damage being under white supremacy has done to our people. You understand? It can be overstated. It seems like many times you'll hear, you understand, talking about it. Of course, now at ISUPK, we always talking about it, but we're going to get into it tonight. Shalom, sisters. Shalom, sisters. You understand? All right. Most high in Christ. All right. We're going to let everybody get in here before we get started because we going over some scriptures here tonight. Things that'll be right in your face in plain sight. Never even know, never even realize that this is an effect of another nation of people ruling over us, of an oppressor ruling over us. You understand? All right. All right. Before we get started, questions, any questions in the room? You brothers and sisters, you got any questions? All right. All right. All right. Most High in Christ, we're going to go ahead. Now, how has white supremacy affected blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans? It has literally shaped the entire world and society that we think is the real world, when in reality, it is a falsified, manufactured world and society that our oppressor has created for us to function in. You understand? Galatians chapter 3, verse 12. All right, let's go to Galatians 3, verse 12. Young man Edward has a question in Galatians chapter 3 and verse 12. For our society to function in. Let's get these questions here. Any questions in the room before we get to the topic? Galatians chapter 3 and verse 12. It says, and the law is not of faith, but the man that doeth them shall live in them. All right. So what it's explaining. I'm going to skip up a few verses just to make sure that it makes sense to the brother that asked the question. Young man Edward, it says, let's see, for many other works of the law. Okay. Right. So it says in Galatians chapter 3 and verse 10, like most of the writings in the New Testament, these are letters written from the Apostle Paul, who traveled and set up these schools all throughout Asia Minor and Galatia, in Europe as well. And Galatia is one of these schools that he set up, and he's writing a letter to the brothers and sisters in the school so that they can go over specific things for reports that he is being given about what's going on in the school, what's going on with the brothers and the sisters there. All right. It says, for as many are the works of the law. What is the law? The law is the Most High's laws, his rules that he gave us, found in the Torah. Torah means law in Hebrew, found in the laws that the Most High has created. It says, for as many are of the works of the law under the curse. You understand? The curse is a punishment. That's what it means for a curse. A curse is a punishment. Under the law, there is a punishment for the actions that you take. For example, if you steal, there is a punishment. You understand? If you lie, there's a punishment. If you commit adultery, you have sex with a woman that belongs to another man, or if you are a woman that had sex with any other man besides your husband, or besides the first man that you have had sex with, if he has not expired, his life has not ended, then you are bound to that man. You cannot leave and go now and be with another man. That is a punishment under the law. The curse, the punishment for breaking that law is, oh man, I didn't press. So like your Instagram. So like, bear with me just a moment. We're getting up. All right, Salakia. We live now, Instagram, Salakia. Didn't hit the live. So you're dealing here. We're talking about the devastating effects of white supremacy, how it has shaped every facet of life in the Black, Latino, and Native American community, and the effects we don't even realize just how much damage it has done to our people, to our families, to our brains, to the way that we think and reason life, the way that we decide or figure what is right, what's wrong. All of those things come from a falsified life that our oppressor has created for us to live in. Just like, for example, you have a pet. You understand? You own animals, you own pets. The fish that are in your fish tank, that are in my fish tank, they don't come from my fish tank. They don't come from my fish tank. The life that they're living is not the bubbles that I put in there for them to get oxygen. They're supposed to get oxygen from the air and whatever river and lake and stream or pond that they live in. But I have created an alternative reality for them to live in, even though that is not where they would be naturally. They have to go and find their own bugs or their own worms or eat their own sprouts or plant roots or fruit, whatever falls into their water, not what I put into their tank every other day or so. I've made a reality for them because I rule over them. Well, us being ruled over by another nation of people has created a false sense of reality. It is the day-to-day life that you and I are living, but it is not the real world that we are seeing. We are only seeing what our oppressor has created for us. That's the topic of the class. We're going to get into it a little bit later on. We're taking some questions in the beginning. Young man Edward had questions on Galatians chapter 3 and verse 12. And right now, for those of you just joining, I'm catching you up to speed real quick. So like it, Galatians chapter 3 and verse 12, we read, it says, and the law is not of faith. You understand the law, the laws and statutes and commandments that the Lord put in for us to obey. Law is Torah in the Hebrew. That's what it means, the law or the Torah, as people call it in English. You understand those rules the Most High gave to Moses to tell the children of Israel are also the same rules that the Lord gave to Adam when he gave him the breath of life in the Garden of Eden. Moses got instructions to write down what the Lord had instructed Adam as far as his laws were concerned. Then the Lord also instructed Moses to write the laws, the statutes, the judgments, and the different sections of the law and rules. The same way if you go to court, you understand the court system has rules, the court system has laws. They got different sections and statutes between manslaughter. You didn't mean to unalive someone, but you did. Vehicular manslaughter, you hit someone with your car. First degree unaliving or murder, what Esau calls it. You understand? And you got second degree. You got a homicide that happened negligently because you wasn't being responsible with your firearm or whatever you were doing. There's all kind of different degrees. That's what a statute is. So when the scripture says the laws, statutes, and commandments, that's what it's talking about. That's what a statute is. That does not take faith. You understand? Everybody just give me one. Let me know you still follow me. I'm getting ready to go and break it down some more for the brother that asked the question. But me telling you, if you touch this stove, I mean, let me not use that because you touching the stove and getting burned, that's a punishment in itself. If I tell you you cannot have sex with another man's wife, it does not take faith for you to not go now and have sex with another man's wife. It doesn't take faith for you. At that time when the law was given, you didn't have to have faith about it. Because if you did go and have sex with another man's wife, a group of brothers, a group of officers are going to come and drag you out of your house and drag the woman who you committed adultery with, going to drag her out of her house and take you and her outside of the city. And then everyone in the city is going to throw rocks at you until you expire. You don't need to have faith to keep the law. You just need to not want to get stoned. Everybody understand, right? You don't need faith to keep the law. You know for a fact going to come in your house, kick in your door, drag you from your bed, your kitchen, your living room, snatch you off your job, Find out that you have done this thing and your life is over. You don't need to have faith to obey that law. You just need to be concerned about the consequences or afraid of losing your life. That does not take faith. Well, the letter of the law is what the Most High gave to us. We had the instructions. We had the men that were set up to enforce the law. These were the officers that we went over last week in the classes in Deuteronomy, the first chapter, of tens, of fifties, of thousands, and captains. You understand? That is what we are building here in ISUPK. That is always what has been done all throughout the Bible. That's our culture that the Lord gave us. Because of our oppressor ruling over us. Hey, shalom, sister. Because of our oppressor ruling over us, which fits perfectly right into the topic the young man Edward asked, we believe that someone else is responsible for policing us. We believe that another people and their law is responsible for coming to make sure that we behave a certain way, that they can dictate what a behavior is acceptable or not acceptable, because we cannot do so ourselves, because we have been taught that America or our oppressor's government and his law enforcement will keep the law, or you understand, who will keep civility at whatever level they so choose. You understand? Here's what exercises faith. That's a good question. Now, at one time, our oppressor said, at Salaki, at one time, the Lord said, if you do that, the same example I just gave, you are not going to now go and commit adultery with another man's woman. Your woman is not now going to go and commit adultery, have sex with another man, because they know everyone will stone them for it, because it's not acceptable by our society when we were all obeying the Most High. At this time in 2024, you are not going to face being stoned by thousands of people if you go and have sex with another brother's woman. Or if you are a sister, go now and have sex with another man that is not your husband, you are not going to face being stoned. There are no laws in this land that would allow for you to be punished the way that our laws, or the law, what is talked about here in the scripture, there are no laws in this land that would allow you to be punished in such a manner. You understand? So that is why, because there is no punishment, many of our people just do whatever they feel and break God's laws. So because there's no one coming to punish you for it, many of our people do it anyway, even though God does not permit it, our oppressor does. So by faith, because you believe in the Most High, because you love the Most High, what is love? Love is to students in the class. What is love? What does love mean? Brothers and sisters in the UPK, what is love? You understand? What is love? What is it? Y'all type in, let me know. What is love? You understand? What is it? What is it? Because you know the Most High, you love the Most High. What does that even mean? You understand? There we go. Love is to keep the commandments. The commandments are the laws, statutes, and the commandments. That means to keep the commandments. That's right. Man, that's correct. To keep the commandments. That is what love, brotherhood and sisterhood, keeping the LSC. All right, y'all don't shorten laws, statutes, and commandments. Don't do that. Don't do that. All right. I see y'all getting creative. All right. Let's keep the law and statutes. Okay. Everybody doing it now. Who started this? Who started this? All right. Don't shorten law, statutes, and commandments, y'all. Don't do that. All right. But y'all are correct. Laws, statutes, and commandments. Well, you didn't need faith to keep them, but now, because you love the Most High, you will keep his laws, statutes, and commandments. You will not commit adultery because you have faith in the Most High. Your faith is based on you keeping his commandments. Before, you didn't need faith. Somebody was going to come and bust your head open. You didn't need faith for that. You just needed to not want to get your head busted open. So because you don't, Guess what you didn't do? Whatever the law says, the priest could bust your head open for. Well, now you're going to need faith to do it. No sweat. Okay, you started it. All right. All right, no sweat. So I'm gonna just give a little bit more on there. It says Galatians chapter 3 and verse 10. It says, for as many are the works of the law, the works is what the law says to do, are under the curse. The curse is that punishment that you're going to get for disobeying it. The Lord told us to keep his commandments. He would set us above all people on the earth. We would be blessed. None of us would be sick. No sister would be having trouble having children. None of our children would be sick. Our enemies would run from us. We would have plenty of everything. Everyone would come to us for lending. We would be in charge. Everyone else would follow us. But the curse that was in the law was the flip side, where the Lord said, if you don't keep the terms of this deal, of this commandment, now you are going to be beneath. They are going to rule over you. You'll have to go to an enemy for everything that you need. They're going to put you in slavery and on reservations. They're going to take your children away. You're going to be filled with illnesses and sicknesses and all kind of diseases and things if you don't keep the terms of that law. You understand? So that's an example of what it's talking about in this Galatians 3 and 10. For it is written. Is written where? Is written in the commandments. Is written in the Bible. Curses everyone that continueth not in all things that are written in the book of the law to do them. You understand? You're going to get a punishment if you don't obey what is written in the law to do. Just as a sidebar, once again, Christians who lie and say that Christ did away with the law, we know that's not true. And preachers who teach that you don't have to keep the law, everything in the New Testament was the disciples teaching how to keep the law. That's what Christ taught them. That's what the Most High told Christ to teach them. That's what the prophets were teaching in the Old Testament. That is what the disciples are teaching and explaining in the New Testament to the brothers and sisters coming into the schools. You understand? So, verse 11, it says, but that no man is justified by the law in the sight of the Most High, meaning no man is going to be justified because they don't eat pork, crab, shrimp, or lobster. You understand? By the law, or because they punish someone for breaking the law, that's not going to justify anyone in the sight of the Most High. It is evident. Why? Because we didn't keep the law as a nation. That's how we ended up in captivity, and the other nations of people ruling over us. For the just, the justified shall live by faith, meaning they're going to live and obey these laws, statutes, and commandments because the Lord commanded them and they know the Most High, which means to keep the commandments. They love the Most High, which means to keep the commandments. And by faith, even though there's not someone coming to bust their head open for disobeying the Lord, they're going to keep the commandments anyway. They are living by faith. You understand? And it says, and the law is not of faith, which was young man Edwards' questions. The law doesn't take faith, but the man that doeth the law, shall live in them. Now I'm going to read 13 as well, just to explain what it is. Christ have redeemed us from the curse of the law. What is the curse of the law? The fact that some priest is going to come and unalive you for breaking different laws. What else is the curse of the law? We go into captivity for disobeying the Lord. We are still under the curse right now. That's why we're in America. That's why we're speaking English. That's why we have English names. That's why we live in cities that our oppressor rules, and his government and his law enforcement rules over us. Why? Because we did not obey the Most High. We didn't keep the Lord's commandments. Well, Christ redeemed these 12 tribes of Israel from the punishment of the law. That doesn't mean we're not still under these curses. He gave us an opportunity to change our lives and come back to obeying the Most High, except this time it's not going to be because someone is forcing you with the threat of taking your life, or a punishment, or a curse of the law. Well, Christ redeemed us from that curse, so now we can come back and serve the Most High again, being made a curse for us. He took punishment for us because we were owed the punishment for breaking the Most High's laws. For it is written, cursed is everyone that hangeth on a tree. Christ was crucified on a 9-foot wooden cross. The tree that is talking about is that cross. The Romans, just as another sidebar, so that everybody will know, the Roman cross, that crucifix, is not something unique to Christ. We don't get salvation because Christ was on a cross. When they crucified Christ on the cross, to show you just how not special being hung on a cross is, when they crucified Christ on the cross, what was on the left and the right of Christ when he was being crucified? Who knows? On his left and his right. Sister Raya said a breakdown of King 2:23. Is that First Kings or Second Kings? You got to be a little more specific for me, Sister Bogushaw. Who knows? When Christ was hanging on the cross, on his left and his right, who knows what was there? Since that cross is so important, who knows what was on the left and the right? Who knows? That's right. Young man Edward had it right. Other people also hung on a cross. That was not something specific to Christ. A thief and an unaliver, that's right, criminals. Being hung on a cross was not something specific to Christ. Hanging people on a cross was the preferred method of Roman public execution. The Romans would line entire highways filled with people hanging on a cross until they expired. While you trying to breathe and hold yourself up, and the weight of your own body hanging on your wrist and your legs drags you down, and all your organs and intestines and your lungs and the pressures on your heart, and you got to try to struggle to breathe because your body weight and your muscles full of atrophy from hanging on a 9-foot wooden cross. You're in the air, gravity's pulling on you, your body's pulling on you, they didn't beat the hell out of you, you're hanging up. They would line entire highways full of people, hundreds of people hanging on crosses. That was not something unique to Christ. Of course, Christians don't know the Bible. They don't know history. They don't know the Most High. They'll do whatever our oppressor taught them to do. That cross is a Roman historical figure that, of course, they tied and married into Christianity. And you understand, it's no different than everybody that you know, from the old neighborhood you grew up in. Most of them got shot. That's how most of the people died in the city where you grew up. Somebody shot them. Then the religion based on, whoever was the most important brother that got shot is everybody wear, a Glock 19 around your neck. We got a big Glock 19 hanging up in all the town halls so we can all pray to the almighty Glock and remember, Big Smoke, that everybody loved. He was the realest nigga he was the realest brother in the hood. And we all got a religion based around him because Big Smoke did everybody right. And he died by the Glock 19. So we all wear these Glock 19s around our neck. And we got big statues of Glock 19s all over the city to remember that Big Smoke was such a brother. That's the same thing with the Christian cross. It don't have nothing to do with how Christ lived. What he actually did is nothing special. But what is special is that he lived a perfect life before the Most High, and he willingly gave up his life to take punishment for crimes that all of us, his entire nation, committed, that he himself committed none of. That's what it's talking about there. So now you don't get punished by a priest for what you did. You understand? Christ gave us all a chance. Now you willingly serve the Most High. That's what that's talking about. That is the faith that it means. You understand? Hanging on a tree is a curse. Of course, that's why our oppressor hung Christ from trees, hung their victims from crosses, which were trees, and they also hung Blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans from trees, called lynching. It's a very old word. Most of you young brothers and sisters may not know what lynching is. Well, Christ was beaten and lynched, except he was not hung from his neck, which is what they would do to us, to our babies, to our mothers, our fathers, our grandfathers. Our oppressor would beat and whip and do terrible things in mobs and groups, just like they do to celebrate the football game and their basketball tournaments, just like they did on January the 6th down in Washington, D.C., Well, they would get together city to city and they would beat and burn down our homes and take mothers, fathers, brothers, sisters, and then tie ropes around our necks and throw the rope over the tree. And they would hang us from trees until we expired. That's what they did. That's how they got all the wealth in the black owned towns and businesses. They spent 100 years hanging prominent black families, businesses, your mother, your father, your son, your daughter, your grandmother. They would hang the entire family all across the United States for 100 years after slavery was abolished. So when you go somewhere, as you grow up and as you travel, and you wonder, how come there aren't more black businesses? Why aren't there more black towns? Why aren't there more black stuff? Why can't we get more black things? It's because of the devastating effects of our oppressor ruling over us with his supremacy, that they all targeted, destroyed, burned it down. So after a while, black people don't want to be involved with too much black stuff because it has a negative omen over it for centuries of our oppressor unaliving us for trying to build ourselves up. You understand? That's how we created HBCUs like Virginia State University. You understand? Like Virginia not Commonwealth, Virginia State, Virginia Union, Hampton University, Bowie State, Coppin State, Morgan State. You understand? Morehouse, Lincoln, Cheney. You understand? All the HBCUs, Bethune Cookman, Spelman, all right, all of those. Norfolk State is another one. We made universities for ourselves because we had to be separate. Because if you went on the oppressor side of town, chances are he would beat and unalive you, your kids, and your family and throw a big party. That is where the word picnic comes from. That is why black people don't go on picnics. We don't say picnics. We don't celebrate picnics. They would have entire community fairs and events where all of the oppressors in a city or a town would get together and they would have a big party lynching us, beating some brother, cutting off a brother's nose, cutting off a young brother's testicles, cutting off fingers, cutting off ears, and take them home as souvenirs. They did this to us for hundreds of years. It was regular, basic, good old fashioned American fun. It was as American as the 4th of July and apple pie and God bless America. That is why we don't rise for their national anthem. That's why we don't celebrate their Independence Day. That's why we don't celebrate their 4th of July, their Memorial Day, their Labor Day. We, in the truth, do not celebrate our oppressor or his Thanksgiving or his Christmas or his voting because our oppressor has done terrible things to us to have these celebrations. And the Lord forbid us from joining another nation, taking their gods, taking their customs, all of those things there. Everybody understand? All right. Young man Edward, that should answer your question. Just let me know. Okay, you said the water. All right. Everybody understand? Just let me know. I'm going to move on. Sister Raya got a question. 1 King chapter 2 and verse 23. Let's get to that. All right. 1 Kings 2 and 22. All right. 1 Kings chapter 2, verse 22. All right. 1 Kings chapter 2 and verse 23. So like our question was in 23. All right. Shalak. Shalak. Okay. 1 Kings chapter 2 and verse 23. It says, Then King Solomon sware by the Most High, saying, Shalak, the power due to me, and more also, if Adonijah have not spoken this word against his own life. All right. So what is your question? What exactly is your question, Sister Rye? What's your question, sister? Okay, you said you want a breakdown. Okay, throughout I see it. A breakdown. Okay, so let's skip up. All right. And the king say, Ask on my mother, if I when I say no to thee. She said that Abishag, Yeshua might be given your brother's wife. Ask for him the kingdom. Ask for the kingdom also, for he is my own. And for Abiathar the priest, and for Joab the son of Zeruiah. Okay. Ask for him the kingdom also. Okay. Most High, do so to me, and more also, if have not spoken this word. That should establish me, set me on throne, but made me an house as he promised, shall be put to. Oh, okay. Yeah, I see what's going on. Salaki, give me a second, sister. It's a whole lot going on here. There's a lot going on here in the scripture. This is a hell of a question, Sister Raya asks here. All right, sis. Give me a second. I'm trying to see where to start. You understand? This did not go well for the brother. Not, and she say unto him, say on, and I speak, praise Solomon, for he would not say no. And I speak that he may give me Abishag assurance to wife. She said, well, okay. Abishag, shooting mine. All right. And then all Israel set their faces on me that I should reign, howbeit the king is taken about, and it is become my brothers, for it was his from the Lord. There's a lot going on here. It's a lot. It's a lot going on. Came to Bathsheba, the mother of Solomon, promised thou peaceably. Good Lord. I might have to read most of this chapter. Okay, so let me catch y'all up to speed here. Yeah, I see, sister. You come bringing trouble. No sweat, sis. I'm just joking, of course. All right, so King David has passed away. This is what's going on at the beginning of the chapter, 1 Kings chapter 2 and verse 10. It says, so David slept with his fathers. When it says slept with his fathers, is going to explain. Remember, every time you see the words if, and, or but, some of the most important words in the entire scripture, what does it mean to sleep with your fathers? It says, and was buried in the city of David. That means his life expired. His life is over. He slept with his fathers. He was buried in the city of David. And the days that David reigned over Israel were 40 years. For 40 years, he was in charge of Israel. 7 years reigned he in Hebron. He reigned in Hebron, which is one of our cities, for 40 years. 30 years, so like 30 and 3 years reigned he in Jerusalem. Jerusalem is known, you understand. He reigned in Jerusalem. At first, he was reigning in Hebron. Verse 12, it says, then Solomon sat upon the throne of David his father. Your father goes, now the son, that oldest son, is in charge of everything. This is our culture. This is very important. That's why our oppressor in his supremacy seeks to take away the father. The most important thing in our entire nation, in your entire life, is who your father is. Who is your father? Your father determines your identity, determines your nation, determines who and what you are. Not you, not politicians, not your mother, not your grandmother. You understand? Not your church, your religion, your gang, what city you're from, what language you speak, your skin color, your hair texture, how big your nose is, how thin your lips are. None of those things there. Who the seed of your father is the most important thing in your life. You understand? So it says, then Solomon sat upon the throne of King David his father, and the kingdom was established greatly. King David built up the kingdom for 40 years for his son to rule over. All right. Verse 13. Mind you, King David is gone. His son is in charge now. The son is ruling over all the nation. Now, and Adoniah, or Adonijah, which is in English, but Adoniah, the son of Haggith. Remember, it's always telling you, who is this man's father? Your father carries the seed. Your father, that seed in your father is how your nation continues. Your great great grandmothers, your great great grandfathers are brought back into the earth. Their spirit comes back to life from the Most High when your father and the seed inside of your father's and his testes, that seed is put into your mother, that reproduces our relatives back on the earth again. That is who you are, brother. That is who you are, sister. That is who I am. We are some relative that his spirit has passed on several generations before, that the Lord gave this spirit back to be a child of their relatives from generations later. That is always how life has been. That is why you don't have permission from the Lord to unalive your baby or to get an abortion, because that is how life continues. That's how reincarnation happens. That is the true circle of life. But under our oppressor's culture and his supremacy, we have learned other things that are falsified, that are created for us to think that this is life. Just like I take fish, some breeder takes fish out of the ocean or the sea, puts them in a tank, breeds them in a tank, and then I go to the store, he sells some of the fish to me, I put the fish in my tank. That's not the real life that those fish are supposed to live in my tank. But I have created a life for them because I rule over them. Our oppressor creates a life for us because he rules over us, but it's only as a punishment from the Most High. All right. So now, verse 13, it says, and Adoniah, the son of Agith, came to Bathsheba, the mother of Solomon, because the father of Solomon is gone. He just passed away. He came to Solomon's mother, and she said, comest thou peaceably? Say, you coming in peace? And he said, peaceably. All right. He said, moreover, I have somewhat to say unto thee. And she said, say on. All right, what you want? Mind you, he going to the mother. And he said, thou knowest that the kingdom was mine. He said, you know the kingdom was mine. And all Israel set their faces on me. He said, the kingdom was supposed to go to me. All of Israel set their faces on me that I should reign. I was supposed to be the ruler. Howbeit, the kingdom is turned about and is become my brother's, for it was his from the Lord. The Most High wanted Solomon to be in charge, but the kingdom was supposed to come to me, but now it went to Solomon instead. So he got a beef with the issue. Now I ask one petition of thee. I'm going to ask this from you. Deny me not. Don't deny it to me. Give me whatever I ask. And she said unto him, say on, go ahead, keep talking. And he said, speak, I pray thee, I pray, I want you to speak unto Solomon the king, for he will not say nay thee. He will not say thee nay. He won't tell you no. That he give me Abishag, the Shulamite, to wife. He wants this certain sister. He wants to marry this certain sister. And Bathsheba said, I will speak for thee unto the king. I'm going to go and ask him. That's what his mama said. Bathsheba, therefore, meaning King Solomon's mother, Bathsheba went unto King Solomon, therefore went unto King Solomon to speak unto him for Adonijah. And the king rose up to meet her. The king is sitting there, rose up to meet her, and bowed himself unto her, and sat down on his throne. He bowed himself down and sat on his throne, and caused a seat to be set for the king's mother. He caused a seat to be set, tell her sit down. And she sat on his right hand. She sat on his right hand. Then she said, I desire one small petition of thee. She's saying it like it's her. That's why Adonijah went to her and said, I want you to ask this. And she said, she gonna go and ask the king on his behalf. And now here's what's going on. I pray thee, say me not nay. Don't say no to me. That's what it is. And the king said unto her, ask on, my mother. Tell her, go ahead, ask what you want, for I will not say no to you. I will not say thee nay. Verse 21. And she said, let Abishag the Shunammite, Shalakia, the Shunammite, be given to Adonijah, thy brother, to wife. King Solomon answered and said unto his mother, why dost thou ask Abishag the Shunammite for Adonijah? Ask for him the kingdom also. You're going to ask for him to get the kingdom too? For he is my elder brother. He's my older brother. Even for him, and for Abiathar the priest, and for Joab the son of Zeruiah, meaning Joab was the head of the armies of Israel. For those you don't know the backstory, Joab was a mighty warrior for King David. Joab slew Abner. Abner was in charge of was in charge of King Saul's armies before we had a great civil war, so that all 12 tribes could be under one leader, which was the Lord's will. And of course, all you fake Israelites that don't understand, everybody does not get to be their own leader. You understand? For now, everybody's able to do their own thing, and this and that, and think that the Lord is with you. But it will not be so all the time. There's going to come a time when all that foolishness is going to be put to rest. It hasn't come yet. You've been given plenty of time by the Most High to come back. The Lord said all camps are to return to the original school, and you have refused to do so thus far. All right, I'm going to leave that alone. Verse 23, it says, then King Solomon sware by the Lord, saying, the Most High do so to me, meaning, may the Lord do this to me, and even more also, if Adonijah have not spoken this word against his own life, meaning he should have never said this. If this brother did not, if my elder brother did not ask for this and tell my mother to do this, may the Lord do exactly to me and more, if this is not if he didn't put my mother up to this. He spoke this against his own life. Now therefore, as the Lord liveth, which have established me, the Lord established me to be king. I didn't choose this myself. The Lord set me up as king and set me on the throne of David my father. This older brother, in the spirit, he believes the kingdom should be unto him. That's why he came to Bathsheba, which was King Solomon's mother, to ask this request. But King Solomon, having great wisdom from the Lord, the wisest man to ever live, next to our King Yahushua Mashiach, who the world calls Jesus Christ, second only to him, he was the wisest man to ever live on the earth. He said, the Lord established me and set me on the throne of my father, King David, and who have made me an house as he promised. The Lord made me this house with this power and this authority as he promised. Adonijah shall be put to death this day. And King Solomon sent by the hand of Benaniah or Benaiah, the son of Jehoiada, and he fell upon him that he died. He put his brother, he unalived his brother that day. The Lord King Solomon put a sentence on his brother for requesting, you understand, to marry this sister, that this sister be given to him. It says King Solomon views the request made by his mother as a threat, was a threat to Solomon because asking to marry her was virtually the same as asking for the kingdom. Right. Words are spirit and they are life. King Solomon understood the spirit behind this evil request that he asked. Now, of course, King Solomon was not there when this brother went to King Solomon's mother, Bathsheba, to request this underhanded thing. But in his speech, he said the reason why he's asking this. He said, the kingdom is supposed to belong to me. Israel is supposed to bow to me, meaning the 12 tribes are supposed to fall to me because I'm the oldest son. And by birthright, I'm supposed to get it. But the Lord did not want him to be in charge of the nation of Israel. The Lord did not put him in charge, just like Ephraim and Manasseh, who were Joseph's two sons that he had in Egypt. Manasseh is the older of the two sons, but the Lord did not want Manasseh to be the one to inherit the blessing of being the eldest son. The inheritance that comes with being the eldest son, the Lord did not want Manasseh to have it. The Lord wanted Ephraim to have it. Same thing with Jacob and Esau. Esau is the oldest son. The blessing of the father and all of the inheritance is supposed to go to the oldest son. The Lord did not want Isaac and Isaac and Rebekah. The Lord did not want the blessing to go to Esau. The Lord chose Jacob. And because the Lord chose Jacob, it was his will that Esau not have the blessing and the power that came with it, because the Lord works his own plan. Same way with him. It was the Lord's will. This brother got unalived. You understand? Are we up on TikTok or can I talk normal? Are we on TikTok, Yagadar? We up on TikTok? We live or we not? If we not live, then I don't have to keep using this TikTok speech language. I can talk regular and just teach my class. Let me know if we up on TikTok or not, Yagadar. All right. But that's what happened there. And in his spirit, he wanted the kingdom. King Solomon saw right through it. To the average person reading the book, it's like, well, he just want to marry this sister. He just want to marry her. But King Solomon saw through it. And the spirit behind why he was asking, King Solomon saw it. And that's why. Okay, all right, we not on TikTok. All right, Most High in Christ. That's why he was judged. The Lord passed that judgment because King Solomon sits as judge. He's the king over the nation. He was the king. So he put that brother, he unalived his oldest brother that day. All right. All right, on field for thou, but I will not, because thou bearest the ark of the Lord, because thou hast been afflicted. Solomon thrust Abiathar from being priest of the Lord, the field which he spake concerning the house of Elah. Thanos, Lakia, Joab, turned after, and he turned not after Absalom. Joab fled into Salakia, said, behold, he is at the altar. Right. A lot of this is also something that you see. There's a lot of things happening in this chapter. Who remembers The Godfather, the movie? Most of the things that are great and critically acclaimed in the world that are actually worth something, if you actually look into them, they come from our stories. They come from us. Who remembers The Godfather when young Michael Corleone took over? Who remembers The Godfather? All right, that's one brother. Who else has seen it? In order for this to make any sense, a number of brothers and sisters would have had to see this movie. Sisters may not have watched it. It's really a man thing. You understand? That's why so many brothers in the hood and in the ghetto try to pattern their lives and give themselves name after the Don and Corleone this and that, and how the Italians structured that crime family because they understood about heritage and preserving your culture and your identity. Okay, that makes two brothers. Any of you sisters ever seen or watched The Godfather? It's not really something that would appeal to most women because it's really a man thing. But many sisters may have seen it. You may have watched it with your husband, with your father, or something like that. You know, just let me know here. So that's three. All right. Nobody else know what the hell I'm talking about. I might have to use another example. And give y'all a moment. Who else has seen The Godfather? Where are the rest of the brothers and sisters in this class here? Everybody make sure y'all hit that like button. The like button helps the algorithm, pushes it along. Y'all come on in here, all right? Who else has seen The Godfather? That's three. Three people answered. All right. Let's hear some more. Only three. If you have not seen The Godfather, I need you to respond as well. Who doesn't know what the hell I'm talking about? All right. Let me know. Y'all type in there. All right. One brother said he's seen it. That's four. All right. Who else? Anybody else seen it? Nobody else has seen it. Right? Nobody but those four. Right? What's in here? I know the movie, but I never actually watched it. All right. The water, somebody answered. All right. Where is Shemaiah Bar? No brothers driving here. Where's Shemaiah Bar? Officer Aharon, Sister Tawabaf, Sister Deborah, Sister Aimadah. You understand? Where's the rest of the class? Who here has seen this movie? Sister Hadassah, who has seen The Godfather? I'm asking the class this question so that I can go forward. Where's Sister Anna, who has seen this movie, who even knows what I'm talking about? So I reference. Okay, Thawada, y'all seen? Okay, Most High in Christ. All right. Now, in the movie, once he takes over, he's waiting until his father dies. All right. Also, Shemaiah Bar seen it. Mosai Atawada. All right. Dana seen it as well. All right. He's waiting till his father dies. What was he waiting? What was the reason that he waited for his father to die and be buried? What was the reason? Why did he do that? What was he planning to do? You understand? What was the reason? Who knows? Who knows? Who knows? Who want to give it a try? Who knows? What was the reason? Who even remembers the movie? The movie is 2 days long. Each movie is 2 full days to watch the whole movie, like 4 hours a piece. Something crazy. You understand? We look at how long it is. Why y'all answer? Who knows why? Why was he waiting for his father to die? How? You understand? How long was God Father? What? All right. How long was this movie? Came out in 1972. Godfather, the first movie, was 2 hours and 55 minutes. Damn near long as Django. You understand? A little bit longer than Django. Godfather 1 is a 3-hour movie. How long was Godfather 2? Take all day. I see why Mataza ain't watching. Godfather 2 was 3 hours and 22 minutes. You understand? 3 hours and 22 minutes. Godfather 3, 162 minutes, not that long. All right, 1979. All right, so he can step into position and be head. No, that's a good guess. He can't be the head until his father is gone. You understand? His father put him in charge. His father put him in charge. So he can step into position to be head. That's a very good guess, sister. Before he struck back at his brother, so he could have his seat. All those are correct. You know, all of those are correct. You understand? I was little when I seen it. Don't remember too much. I understand. You a little girl. I understand, sister. No sweat. The water for everyone in the answer. All right. But he was waiting to settle the family debts. There were lots of people that wronged his father. There were people that did wrong. There were people that needed to receive punishment for the evil that they had done to the family. He needed the respect of the gang. All right, no sweat. Don't sweat it, sisters. Y'all got it. To honor his father and allow his brother to mourn before he got revenge against his brother for violating. Well, he took revenge on a lot of people, not just his brother. He had advisors. Barzini had to get revenge taken against him. You understand? He had to take revenge against the brother-in-law that his younger brother, he set up Sonny to be executed by the Tatalia gang. They gunned him down with Tommy guns and shot him about 100-something times at the toll booth. You understand? Because Sonny beat up the brother-in-law because he beat up his sister. You understand? For being a brat. He smacked her up. Sonny found out he beat him up all up and down the street. Later on, he betrayed him, got him unalive. Michael knew all of the evil that had been done to his family, and he settled the family debts. Once his father was gone and he was sitting on the throne with all the power, he had to go and make sure that everyone got paid back for the evil that they did. Now, How does evil get paid back in our society? The judge pays back the evil. The king sits on the throne. You understand? The Lord put kings in charge. The kings make a decision. Kings make a bad decision, everyone suffers. The kings make righteous decision, the Lord blesses the king, blesses the whole nation. You understand? It's always been like that. And our oppressor has taught us to be, think, and act as individuals. There's a tremendous amount of responsibility that comes with being a leader over the Lord's people. It comes with the authority and the power that Christian preachers and Muslim imams and politicians and all the damn traitors that put a crown upon themselves to lead the Black, Latino, and Native American community that are all doing terrible jobs. There's a million of us in prison. We're full of diseases. We're sleeping on the damn street. Our kids are killing each other. Half of our race is strung out on drugs. All the kids is getting abused. You understand? All our families is destroyed. We don't know history. We failing out of damn schools. All kind of madness happening to us. You understand? They've done a terrible job because the Lord did not call them. You understand? The only people that are to be in charge is who the Lord appointed over Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. There's a sidebar, and King Solomon was settling the debts for the evil that had been done. That's why he's saying it. He told one brother, you're not going to be the priest anymore. You were a priest when my father was alive. You're not going to be now. But I'm not going to take your life because you stood against my father, this other older brother. You understand? He said, I'm supposed to be in charge. He was not supposed to be in charge. The Lord put King Solomon in charge. King Solomon settled that because the evil that he would have been, the evil that he thought to do by requesting to marry this sister, King Solomon judged that as evil, and he put him, you understand, he put him to death for that evil that he did. Because in his heart, he feels he should have the kingdom. That's why he went to King Solomon's mother to try to con his mother into getting her to go to the king to ask this. The king saw right through it, of course, took that brother out. You understand there. All right. Then we get down to Joab. Joab was the king of all the armies of Israel. Joab slew Abner because there was a battle between King David's servants and his army and King Saul's army, who used to be the king over Israel before the Lord chose King David to lead. Well, he still had followers and sons in his own army that was loyal to him that refused to follow King David. So the nation doesn't know, are they supposed to follow King David or are they supposed to follow King Saul's sons? You understand? They don't know who they're supposed to follow. How will they know? Well, how does that get settled? A war. War is how that gets settled. Nobody knows who the Lord is with. Well, the Lord is a man of war. They don't know. We'll meet on this battlefield and see who lives through this battle. That's who the Lord is with. You understand? Of course, King Saul's house got wiped, got decimated. They lost all their wars. The general in charge, his name was Abner. Abner was a very righteous and honorable brother. He realized that the Lord was with King David, and he, during the process of those wars, another mighty warrior was the brother, the little brother of Joab. Joab's little brother, you understand, Aisha'Allah, I don't know what his name is in English, Nasahal in the English. His little brother wanted to unalive Abner in a battle. Abner, being a mighty commanding general over the armies over King Saul's house, slew that brother very easily on an accident because the brother would not stop seeking his life on the battlefield. He ended up, very easily took the brother's life. He didn't want to, but Joab held a grudge because of it. And then he later, once he came to surrender all of the armies and the rest of the nation who followed him after the death of King Saul, he came to give them all to King David. Joab came to talk to him by the side, stabbed him in the fifth rib, punched at his heart, unalived the brother. King David said, Joab shall pay for this. King David is gone. Now, King Solomon is going to settle that debt that was owed to Joab for the evil that he did under his father's reign that his father did not get to deal with was happening a few verses down as well. This debt is getting settled for the evil that Joab did. Joab got some right here. If you skip down a few verses, you understand. King Solomon sent Joab to do something. Joab didn't do it. He went to hide because he knew for a fact that he was owed death as well for evil that he did. You understand? King Solomon sent Benaniah or Benaiah, you understand, to go and take out his older brother, Adonijah. You understand? Then he issued the punishment to Abiathar. Abiathar, of course, his life was not taken. He spared him, but he did take his position away from being priest. So Solomon took him from being priest that he might fulfill the word of the Lord, which he spoke. The Lord did not want him to be priest for what he did previously while King David was alive. King Solomon is settling the debts that the Lord had for his family. These are things the Lord had already wanted to be done there. That's why it's there. So now in verse 28, just to finish the story here, I'm going to speed up a little bit. Then I'm going to get on to my topic. Then tidings came to Joab. Greetings, a message got to Joab. But Joab had turned after Adonijah, though he turned not after Absalom. And Joab fled unto the tabernacle of the Lord. He went to go hide in the temple and caught hold of the horns of the altar. He's hiding in the temple. Verse 29, and it was told King Solomon that Joab was fled unto the tabernacle of the Lord. And behold, he is by the altar. He's hiding in the temple because nobody's supposed to be able to go in the temple and get him. Because the temple is a holy place, it's a sanctified place. He believes he'll be safe there. Then Solomon sent Benaniah or Benaiah, the son of Jehoiada, saying, go fall upon him, go in that temple and kill him. And Benaniah came unto the tabernacle of the Lord and said unto him, thus saith the king, come forth. And he said, nay. He said, no, but I will die here. I'm going to stay and die here in this temple. I'm not coming forth. I'm not letting you take me. I'm going to hide out in this temple. And Benaniah brought the king word again, saying, thus say Joab, and thus he answered me. This is what Joab said. I ain't leaving out of this temple. And the king said unto him, do as he have said, and fall upon him and bury him. Go kill him and bury him, that thou mayest take away the innocent blood which Joab shed from me and from the house of my father. He is settling the debt of the house of his father. This is something that free men think of. This is something that power and authority thinks of. That's why when Osama bin Laden tried to unalive George Bush Sr., George Bush Jr. sent everybody else's sons and daughters to go and fight and unalive Osama bin Laden using the power of the United States military once he took office. You understand? Nobody just dismisses evil that has been done to their family and their family name. Captivity has made us believe that it's okay to just dismiss the shame that has just been poured over your family and your name. Your father's name and reputation is very important. That's why the Lord said, Israel is my son, my firstborn. You have my name, you have my reputation. That is important. Well, this reputation was important that under the rule of King David, his top commanding general committed an evil act and shed innocent blood, and he is supposed to lose his life for that evil. King David didn't get to settle that debt that was owed to be paid out by his house. His son settled the debt. That's exactly what Michael Corleone did in the movie. Of course, it is our story, just like everything great that Hollywood did. Most of it comes from our story, our record, something they stole, bastardized to make themselves appear great and special. They take it for themselves. Of course, it's wonderful. The world loves it because Jacob is the former or the creator of all things. And the children of Israel, we are the salt of the earth, the light of the world. We give the world its flavor. Everybody is just doing their best to imitate us and take it and make it something for themselves. You understand? The Muslims did the same thing. The sheiks, The East Indian Sikhs, they wear the turban on their head. They wear the turban, or their wise men, and the Arab wise men wrap their head up to look like a mitri, which the top of the crown of our heads are uncovered with our mitri. They make their attempt to copy the wise men of our prophets and priests. So they take their wise and their holy men for whatever their religious cultures and beliefs are, and they put a turban on their head to let everybody know this is the wisest of our wise men. This man, he has wisdom and understanding and power and rank, and he's very spiritual, because the real spiritual people are the children of Israel. That is our culture. That's why they do that. You understand? Everything great comes from us. All right. Of course, I got your question there, Sister Most High in Christ. All right. So now we're going to get into our topic. What is the topic here? We're going back. All right. The devastating effects of our oppressors, white supremacy, on blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans. We're going to get through here. We're going to start with Jeremiah chapter 12. Is it? So like it. Jeremiah. Let's start with Jeremiah chapter 14 and verse 2. Jeremiah chapter 14 and verse 2. All right. So like it 14 and 2. Jeremiah chapter 14 and verse 2. It says, Judah mourneth, meaning the real Jews, the biblical ethnic Jews of the Bible, are in a state of mourning constantly. It says, Judah mourneth, and the gates thereof languish. What do you put a gate up for? A gate is for protection. There's supposed to be a gate around your house, a gate around your city, so that everyone cannot just come and go freely into your town, into your community. Now, at one point in time, the gates were literal. I am the boss. There's no sweat. We had literal gates, gates to farms, gates to a ranch, gates to a city. They used to call it the city gates. Cities don't have gates like that anymore because times are more modern. The cities are more wide and more open. Now, the woods, the wilderness, all of that is considered a part of the city. The city has a zip code. You got rural areas to the city. You got country areas to a city. You got the city areas where all the people and businesses are, the downtown areas, the metropolitan areas. There's different areas and portions to a city. You got the business district, you got the restaurant district where all the food and stuff is. All of those things were always in different parts of a city. But now all of that is in one city. Like you got restaurants in Richmond, you got some wooded areas in Richmond, you got homes, you got schools, you got business, you got courts. All of that is in one city. At one point in time, to get into the gates of a city, it was open and closed. Well, our gates are spiritual. We spiritually don't have anything to close ourselves off from the other nations of people. Our culture, our officers, the captains, you understand, our heritage, all of these things was to close us off from the other nations of people. When you come into the ISUPK, you are being put around, a gate is being put around you. It's a spiritual gate. In our schools, we have physical and spiritual gates, you understand? So that another nation of people and the influence and the culture of other nations of people is not allowed to come and dominate and rule over us or creep in and influence us to live our life the way that they would, to take their gods, to take their customs. Our spiritual gates is the laws, statutes, and commandments. The Lord gave us a commandment to not join another nation of people, so we don't join them. And that keeps them from ruling over us because we never take their customs. We don't take their gods. How would we get their gods or their customs? Some brother would go and marry one of their daughters. Some father would take one of their sons to marry his daughter. Before you know it, she's talking about their gods and the culture of her husband and their people and their in-laws. Because unlike the other nations of people, we are open to everyone. That's why the Bible says, the gates thereof language. The leaders of our people are to protect us, to be a gate, to tell us what to watch out for. There's danger. Don't do this. This is what's happening to our people. Make sure you do this. This is how the Lord stays on our side. This is how we maintain our cities, our businesses, our families. Our leaders are traitors in the Black, Latino, and Native American community. They are terrible leaders. They're terrible. They marry us to the other nations, to their culture. That is how they're able to come and set up businesses in our communities. That is how they're able to take, you understand, to take our sons. We went to Baltimore on Saturday, and in Baltimore, we battled Muslims on Saturday for about 3.5 hours. Black men telling us how great Islam and the God and the culture of the Arabs are as they lived, remember the beginning of the class, a manufactured pets version of Islam that is not the same Islam that an Arab is living. They live a version of Islam where they don't get the oil money, where they don't own record labels, where they don't get the life insurance policy money from all the black rappers who are Muslims unaliving each other in rap beef. You understand? They don't get the benefit of all the United States government aid and funding and assistance so that they can set up farms and halal stores and Arab chicken spots and hip hop chicken and all of these kind and become DJ Khaled. They're not sharing the benefits of their Muslim Arab culture with black men in the ghetto where their black city has fallen apart and gone to hell, where they only know about being a Muslim because they went to prison. That's the only reason. That's how Malcolm X became a Muslim. That is how and why most black men turn to Islam, because of incarceration. Well, we spent hours battling him, telling him the Arabs are not the Lord's chosen people. Allah is not the Most High. None of this has anything to do with our people. This is our records here. Of course, he has married himself to the families of another nation of people. Our leaders did this. I saw a great breakdown his spirit. Okay, Most High in Christ convicted that he ran to pick a, yeah, you understand? Like, this is what the Lord is talking about, our gates language. The only reason that brothers are Muslims is because traitors of our people join our oppressor. The Nation of Islam comes from brothers who learned from an oppressor named Fard Muhammad. Fard Muhammad was a, who knows, who can guess what I'm getting ready to say? What was Fard Muhammad? They call him Master Fard Muhammad. Who knows who Fard Muhammad was? Fard Muhammad. What was Fard Muhammad? What was Fard Muhammad? Fard Muhammad, Wallace Fard Muhammad, known as W.F. Muhammad, followed Master Fard Muhammad, was the founder of the Nation of Islam. Let's read real quick about Fard Muhammad. You understand? Fard Muhammad, Fard Muhammad. Who was Fard Muhammad? Just very briefly to show you, when the Lord says our gates languish, the gates, our protection, our leadership is weak. It's soft. It cannot protect us. It can't do everything. You understand? Fard Muhammad. Do we have time? Term of slave man. You understand? Okay, we got 20 minutes. Okay, we're doing good. Elijah Muhammad. All right. The whole everything that we have is, it all comes from, for those of you that don't know, Fard Muhammad was a white man. Yes. Fard Muhammad was an Edomite. All this blackety black marching and Martin Luther King and turning and looking sharp and bow tying and bald head and shaved smooth faces. Arabs don't wear smooth shaved faces, by the way. That's jailhouse Islam. You understand? The Nation of Islam Everybody got a smooth shaved face. Arab Muslims don't shave their beard. Your beard is a sign of freedom and masculinity, and it is an embarrassing thing for you to shave your beard, just like it is in our culture. That's why we got commandments that you're not supposed to shave your hair off of your face. You're not supposed to do that. Well, your oppressor who taught you to be a Muslim, he told you to get a nice, smooth, clean face, just like the Egyptians, just like the Greeks and the Romans who took ancient Egyptian culture, which all of the Bible tells us what about Egypt? Don't learn the ways of the heathen. Don't take Egyptians' custom. Don't do what the Egyptians did. I made you separate from the Egyptians. I made you above all the other people. Well, brothers end up following behind a white man. The white man teaches them how to have a slave version of the Arab religion. Let's just learn a little bit about Fard Muhammad, just real quick, just a little bit, just a little bit. Everything that we have learned has been a scam. There's so many scams and schemes running in the black community that it is a miracle that any of us are even still alive long enough to learn the truth. This is it here. This is this Wikipedia page. Wallace Muhammad. You see this picture here, Fard Muhammad? This is a Caucasian. He's an Edomite. He is not a black man. You see why Louis Farrakhan get that nice slicked over hair like that with that pomade in his hair to make his hair lay nice and flat to the side with that part in there. That comes from this oppressor who taught all the black men how to be Muslims. That comes from him. He made it. That's his style. That's a style for his white man hairdo, not for black people. But he's an oppressor, and black people follow our oppressors, thinking they're getting away from the supremacy of one slave master. They go underneath another slave master and the culture that he took from the Arabs to make a new version of Islam for the descendants of slavery that is separate from the real Islam that actual Arabs are a part of. He was a con man. He conned them. And guess what black people did once they joined the Nation of Islam? Guess what they did, sister? What did they do? Who want to guess? This is Arna and Imadah and Tawabaf and Hadassah. Who want to guess? What did they do? Young sister Shelley, what did they do? What did black people do? All the brothers, young man Edward, what did they do? Yagadar, Call Sapar, Shemagabar, what did they do? What did they do? Once black people learn this new, we fighting against white supremacy. We gonna fight this way. We're gonna go over here and be Muslims and do this the black way and be black Muslims. And this is how we fight white supremacy. That whole thing was created for them by a white man. What did black people do when they joined into the Nation of Islam? What did they do? They built up the black community. They got black farms so that black people can eat organic food. I know they went and fixed all the families in the black community. Did being a Muslim stop all the brothers from joining gangs? Did being a Muslim, is that what it did? Did it stop young brothers? You understand? Is that what they did? Did it stop young brothers from joining the LGBT and getting into alternative lifestyle? Damn it, Yagadar. All right, Yagadar. Don't answer no more questions. It's a lock here. You're right. As usual, you were 100% on. It's damn near cheap. All right. Follow their culture, not their own. That's Sister Arna is correct. That's right. Black people join blindly. That's right, Sister Raya. They join the oppressor. That's right, young man Edward. That's right. Officer Yagadar got it. They poured money into it and built up the Arab community. That is exactly what black people did. In their mind, their joining is no sweat, Yagadar. I'm just messing with you. No sweat, Yagadar. In their mind, they took trips for worship, spending money. Who did the money go to? When Malcolm X wanted to be the best Muslim that all Muslims are supposed to be, who did the money go to? That young black poor people in Harlem and Brooklyn, in Detroit, who did the money go to? They went and spent thousands of dollars to take a Hajj or a pilgrimage, a religious journey to Mecca. Where is Mecca? In Saudi Arabia. Who is getting all of black Muslims' money so that they can go be better black Muslims like the Arabs? The Arabs are getting all of black people's hard-earned black Harlem, Detroit, Baltimore money. They're all getting it and taking it over to go to Mecca. Guess what Malcolm X found out when he went to Mecca? That their black religion of black power and black strength and blackity blackness and fighting white supremacy, guess who was in charge of the whole damn thing? White men in the desert wearing bathrobes. That's who's in charge of the whole damn thing. They thinking it's so black and super black and blackity black, and we being black in Detroit and black in Philly and black in Baltimore and black in Harlem, Muslim, blackity blackness, all blackness, Islam, Allah, Allah, Allah. They get over to the Middle East and find out it's all white men in charge of everything. And the Arabs despise dark-skinned people. They despise black people. They're exceptionally cruel to Africans who are not our people, but they despise dark-skinned people. Just like our oppressor. It's all a scam and a bunch of hustles. That's right, Sister Mecca. That's the correct answer. Wallace Fard Muhammad. His name is Wallace. They calling him Fard. They calling him Fard because it sounds so spiritual. Like that brother Polite coming to Egyptology. Oh, it sounds so spiritual. He's polite. And my brother and the doobity of the doober. And you got to check this me. And the this on the third with the mothership and the Honorable Elijah Muhammad back in 1985. And the this and got to stand on your square. And you dig it, my G. And what's good? We are the gods of the universe. And all of this kind of nonsense. It sounds so wonderful and so spiritual. I don't understand. I overstand and I understand. All of this nonsense is just black people worshiping, trying to fit in some other race of people's culture while they get rich and we struggle and be so joyed for the opportunity to be the dog at their feet, waiting with the tongue wagging, waiting for you to throw some ice on the floor, waiting for you to pat them on the head, rolling over so you can scratch my belly, so you can go and hose me off and let me run around outside and I can be happy. See my master, me and my master going for a walk. See, look, there's other dogs, master. There's so many smells out here. Like a dummy. Like a dummy. Find out it's got nothing to do with black people. All your money is going to some white man. You in some heathen's religion. They don't believe none of the stuff that you believe. Your belief don't meet up with them. They the originators of their culture. It's making them rich and powerful. You getting poor. You're losing your neighborhood. They giving you heroin and Percocets to sell. Coincidentally, the cities where all the Muslims are, all the blackity black Muslims, like Philly, like Baltimore, like Washington, D.C., the city where all the Muslims are, all the blackity black Muslims, like Harlem, what happened to those cities? They got flooded with weed, flooded with heroin, flooded with opioids. Who knows where weed comes from? Who knows where weed comes from? Where does weed come from? Who knows? Where are all the brothers and sisters? I said a lot of names and most of them did not respond. Where's everybody else at? Who knows where weed comes from? Where does weed come from? Where does heroin come from? Where do Percocets come from? How do you make Percocets? How do you make heroin? How do you make lean? All your rappers love lean. They love lean, sipping on lean, promethazine, and the yellow tussin. and the Waki, and you hear all your stupid rappers talking about Waukesha and the Waki. I'm sipping Waki. I'm sipping Waki. You are an idiot and a drug addict drinking strong promethazine cough syrup. No, not Asia, brother. Don't come from Asia. I'll tell you where it comes from. You understand? The ganja plant. The ganja plant comes from India. Comes from India. That's why they have a religion based around this plant that they smoke that grows in their land. Comes from East India. That's correct. East India. Guess what else is in East India, sister? Pakistan. Pakistan, India, and Pakistan are the same people. Guess where else? India and Pakistan, Afghanistan. How do you make heroin? How do you make poppies? How do you, damn, I gave you the answer. How do you make Percocets? How do you make liquid syrup and codeine? How do you make that? The milk of the poppy. Where do poppy plants come from? Where do poppy plants come from? Opium. Where does opium come from? The poppy tears, the poppy seeds. Where do they come from? Where? This is opium. That's where you get heroin. This is what it looks like. This is how you get it. Yellowish residue. You understand? The poppies and the poppy seeds, they come from Asia Minor. Asia Minor. Heroin, morphine. They extract to make morphine, opium, heroin, Percocets, Molly, oxycodone, hydrocodone. You understand? All kinds of opioids. That's where it comes from. That's how the Arabs, the main producers of this, where does it come from? Comes from Afghanistan. Comes from Afghanistan. And those poppy fields, the poppy fields in Afghanistan, in Pakistan, in East India. That's where it comes from. That's also where your ganja plant comes from. That's where the weed comes from. You understand? This is another reason why the Lord said, don't take the customs of the other nations of people, because you thinking you being so deep and so spiritual, and we got to pray 5 times a day. We got to face the direction that they say. We got to make the pilgrimage, and we must talk and dress properly and have it at. And guess what they do? You doing all of that to join them? They don't. Not only do they not accept you, but they take your money. As you try to pretend to be them, they get your money. You make their religion rich and powerful. You make all of their great, wonderful things. Who knows, before the Nation of Islam, seen as something wonderful for Black people, who knows what Islam was known for throughout the world? What was it known for? The world societies all across the planet, they were introduced to Islam. Muhammad's followers introduced them to Islam. What was it known for? Before Black men who became your rappers, your singers, your dancers, who made a culture magnified and glorious and prestigious, doing all kind of marches and blackety black stuff. Before all of that, what was Islam known for? Now, I'm not making this up. You can look this up yourself. What was it known for? What did the Africans know about Islam? What did the rest of the Asians know about Islam? What was their introduction to Islam before Black men in Harlem and Detroit made it all beautiful and prestigious and clean and wonderful and full of fairness and talking about equality and justice and fairness? What was Islam known for? Who knows? What were Muslims known for? Before all of this great, wonderful stuff that Black people did, all of this excellent public relations, making Islam wonderful and a household name and recognizable. What was it known for? Y'all give me some answers. It was known for slavery. That's how the Africans were introduced into Islam. That's how the rest of the Middle East was introduced to Islam. That's how the Ottoman Turk Empire introduced the world through Islam to Islam through slavery, through taking your sons away, putting your daughters and your mothers into brothels. You understand? Turning your babies into sex slaves. You understand? Making harems of aunts and mothers and grandmothers, forcing them to have sex with their Arab friends all throughout their Arab world, and breeding slaves to continue their Arab supremacy based in their language, based in their culture, based with their identity, based on their worship of their God, and your status as the pet to be used as they see fit in their society. That is exactly what the oppressor did to us with Christianity. Your Christianity is not the white man's Christianity. His Christianity says God is love, God love everybody, but we need an army. We need assault rifles. We need AR-15s. We need 308 battle rifles. We need turrets. We need 50 cals. We need a navy. We need destroyers. We need Tomahawk missiles. We need nuclear submarines. We need an air force. We need bombers. We need fighter jets. We need Marines. We need Army Rangers. Jesus can work it out. Oh, Jesus. Hallelujah, Jesus. They don't believe in that. They believe in having a gun. They believe in having a rifle. They believe in having an army. They believe in having a force of people to enforce their beliefs and their cultures in their territory, armed with guns and rifles and shotguns and canines and tasers and pepper sprays and walkie-talkies to call for more hired guns to show up and enforce their culture and their will on their subordinates. That's why the police are not beating little Billy at a traffic stop. They're not pepper spraying. I can't think of any white girls. I don't know. Karen, that's the number one. They're not beating up Karen at the traffic stop. They're not arriving to the dispute with Karen throwing a fit and yelling and pointing in their face and spitting on people and I'm not this and that and I demand and this and that and hitting people and slapping cameras and committing crimes. They're not showing up pulling their guns drawn and tasering and ripping sisters like they do Eve, ripping dresses and breaking jaws and body slamming sisters and just show up and start shooting immediately. They're not doing that to Becky. They're not doing that to Susie because they have a culture for their people. You are supposed to have a culture for your people, but your leaders have done such a piss poor job because they thought they could go join the Arabs and take their culture and build something for black people. And it built a lot for black people. It built us dope spots. That's what it built. It built us cities filled with heroin addicts and pill addicts with needles everywhere and crack vials. That's what it got us. Lean. All your rappers get to rap about lean, drinking lean, while they in between beefing and shooting each other. You understand? In between beefing and shooting each other, shooting up the neighborhood, gang banging, shooting up outside of the community centers, fighting all at the pools, all at the school, turning the cities up. That's what Islam got us. That's what Christianity got us. It did wonderful things for the Arabs, but it did nothing to help our people. It destroyed us. And that's why the Lord commanded us to never join another nation of people. But let's get some more about who was the black savior for all of blackity blackdom, who was really a white man named Fard Muhammad. You understand? Let's get a picture so you can see. Louis Farrakhan. Louis Farrakhan. They did wonderful things for black people. Wonderful things. Let's take a look. Take a look and see why does he do his hair like this? Why would you slick your hair like this? Because that is what his master taught him to do. He learned that from his master. You sitting on your head with an afro. And what do they teach you to do with that afro? Teaches you to slick your hair over to the side like a white man. Why? because he's your master. You see Louis Farrakhan? You see that hair? You see how his hair is slicked over like that? These pictures never turn out well. But you can just zoom. You see how his hair is always slicked over to the side like that. You see that? Why is his hair slicked over to the side? Why? You see how his face is all nice and bald and smooth? He's an excellent speaker. You see that? You see how you see his hair slide over, greased over to the side like that? You see it? Why would you do that to your hair? Black boy's hair doesn't do that. A black man's hair doesn't do that. See how his face is all smooth and shaved? It doesn't do that. Well, he's the reason why. You see his hair? That's why. Because he taught black men to do this to their hair, have it nice and slicked over to the side. Now let's just read a little bit about him. He's the founder. He's the one that created the Nation of Islam. This white man, just like Black Lives Matter, another blackity black movement, blackity black group, the only real blackity black movement is the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge. Everybody else has some heathen that owns them, some oppressor that's pulling the strings. You understand? I believe he is as well. It came out that his father is an oppressor as well, I believe. In Detroit in the 1930s, several aliens, you understand, he arrived in Detroit, an ambiguous background. Who knows what the word ambiguous means? What does ambiguous mean? Let's get the definition. Gee, just so that everybody's there, what does it mean? What does ambiguous mean? Ambiguous means open to more than one interpretation, having a double meaning. It also means unclear, inexact because of a choice between alternatives has not been made. Meaning his background is unclear. You don't know who the hell he is, where the hell he come from. He's got an ambiguous background. He just show up in Detroit in the 1930s with several aliases. He got several different names. You don't know who the hell he is, where the hell he's from, what is his name. He just magically appears. Where does he go? Proselytize. Proselytize means that he is creating students far away from the homeland of where that religion is created. He's proselytizing Islam. Why? Because Islam is an Eastern world religion from the other side of the planet, idiosyncratic, relating to a peculiar individual, meaning he's making a special type of Islam for Black people that are from a different culture, from a different place on the other side of the world to become a student where they can't be true students because the real Islam is in the Middle East. But he has to proselytize or make them students from a far away place. And he's making a specialized version of Islam. Where is he doing it? Is he doing it where white people are? Proselytize means to convert or attempt to convert someone from one religion, from Christianity, belief, or opinion to another. His specific plan was to create a new Black version of the Arabs' culture with Islamic teachings to the city's Black population. We don't know who he is. We don't know where he's from. We don't know what his real name is. He don't have no background. He just show up out the blue amongst Black people. This white man with slicked over hair, they let him make a blackity black religion for Black people, modern after the Arabs, and we don't know who the hell he is. We don't know who he is. You understand? We don't know him. Nobody know him. If you showed up in the Black community as a Black man and you tried to do some stuff, they're going to ask you what? Who are you? Where are you from? What are y'all doing? What is your name? Who you know around here? What you trying to do? What you setting up? Who did this? Nah, that ain't going to work. We ain't for all that. But this white man come up out of nowhere. Again, you don't even realize you are Muslim because of white supremacy. You are not a Muslim because of the Arabs. You are Muslim in America because a white man created a new face of public relations for Islam, starting in the blackety black city of Detroit. We get robbed and scammed every way possible. Nobody know who he is, where he come from. Oh, he's saying something wise. We got to listen to him. He got something going. Man. He went straight to the black community. He disappeared from public record. He mysteriously disappeared. How did he mysteriously disappear? Sounds like an agent to me. He come, he do a job, get some black followers. Black people really love him because you loyal as an old bloodhound to anybody. That's why the Lord said we're not allowed to be around another nation of people, because you got so much love and loyalty to just spread open to any damn body. You don't know who the hell you love. You love him. He set up the Nation of Islam and said in the 1930s, guess what happened? He magically disappeared in 1934. He show up out of nowhere and he disappeared for no reason. And half the black community following him. He disappeared from public record, and Elijah Muhammad succeeded him as the leader. Elijah Muhammad took over. He disappeared from public record. What was he doing? Fard began selling Oriental silks door to door in Detroit. He come from wherever he was to come in the black community and start hustling some furs. He appeared in Detroit on the 4th of July, going door to door, selling his religious teachings as a salesman, knocking on everybody's door. In 3 years, he had 25,000 leaders. This is why the Lord said, the gates are weak. Nobody was able to stop this one oppressor show up out of nowhere in the black community. He don't look like nobody. He not saying anything you ever heard before, but he's mysterious. He got a certain way that he talk and a certain look, and he got these silks, and he got this new stuff we never heard of before. This is the fault of the Christian church, because the Christian church left us wanting an identity because they failed to give us the identity that the Lord gave us. And because our people are looking for an identity, here he comes with a new identity that is separate from what black people believe is a white man's identity of Christianity. He just swoop in. You're not supposed to be this. This is what you're supposed to be because you're black. He go from Detroit. Fard visited the homes of families who had recently migrated to Detroit from the rural South, told the black residents that his silks was from the same kind that their ancestors in Mecca used and claimed to be a traveler from the land. You believe this hustle? We was in slavery under the Arabs for hundreds of years. And here come some white man selling Arab silk, talking about this is what your ancestors wore in Mecca. This is what you're supposed to be wearing. This is what your ancestors used to wear. And because the Christian church doesn't teach that the Bible has the records of our ancestors, we go into church learning to sing and dance and clap. Got alternative lifestyle men on the down low, leading the choirs. You understand? And here come doors wide open. All the churches in the black community, nobody warned you about joining the customs of another nation because none of them was sent by the Lord. He going door to door, Bible study leader at church houses. Fard used the Bible as a textbook so that he can sell you Islam and tell you that you're supposed to be a Muslim. You can go and read this on your own. All of it is a bunch of damn scams and hustles. So when the Lord says, back to Jeremiah chapter 10, So like Jack to Jeremiah chapter 14 and verse 2. It says, Judah mourneth. The real Jews are in a state of mourning. Why are we in mourning? Because random strangers can show up in your black community that you've never seen before, talking about a religion you've never heard of, talking about a place you've never been, talking about people you never seen, saying this is what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to follow this. This is for you, black man. Even though I'm a white man, oh, and I got these silks. Come buy these silks. I got these rare exotic silks that your ancestors used to wear back in the back days. And he come and hustle black people. Before you know it, 25,000 brothers follow him. He magically disappear. Now Islam is something black. Now it's a black thing. You understand? Brothers on the streets in heroin and Percocet infested, poverty infested Baltimore gonna fight us about how great and wonderful Islam is. You understand? How great and wonderful Islam is. They're gonna fight and battle us. Because Fard Muhammad went to the black community and nobody told him, get the hell out of here. They welcomed him door to door, bought his silks, bought his religion, and he became their leader overnight. And now it's a black thing. Like it's all a bunch of hustles and a bunch of damn scams, man. It's all a bunch of scams. We getting scammed every way possible. What the Lord said in Jeremiah 14 and 2, Judah mourneth, the real Jews, so-called black people, the so-called Negro, the Jews are in a state of mourning. And the gates, your leadership and your protection thereof languish. They are black unto the ground. They are black like the ground. What does it mean to be black like the ground? That means when you go to the ground, you will find different shades of brown. You got a red clay brown. You got a sandy brown. You got a dark brown, a cocoa brown, a soil brown. You wet the soil, it turns a different color. When the soil is dry, it turns a different color. That's what the Bible says when it means they are black unto the ground. We are different shades of brown. Because of our oppressor's culture and his white supremacy, you think that having different skin tones makes you a part of another nation of people. You would look at a light-skinned brother or a light-skinned sister, and you would think, well, the reason why they light-skinned is because they must have some white people in their family. You're not, here's one, you're not all the way black because look how light your skin is. You're not all the way black. You know what? During slavery, you know, they would rape a lot of the slaves, and that's where light-skinned people come from. That's garbage. None of that garbage is true. There's always been light-skinned people. We've always had light skin. We've always had dark-skinned people. Your skin color never has determined what race of people you are. Our oppressor created the world in his image of white supremacy to make you believe that your skin color, however dark your skin is or however light your skin is, the lighter your skin is, that must means you got some white in your family. You got some white in your blood. You ain't all the way. We got to check your DNA. That DNA nonsense is a bunch of damn scams, and it's just for silly black people who are so in love with our oppressor and his culture and so bewitched by it to think that your oppressor is gathering your DNA to help the children of the slaves find their true identity, not make his forefathers and his descendants pay for all the crimes and slavery that they've done to blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans. He collecting your DNA to help you find where you really come from. Who's your ancestors? All of that is a bunch of garbage, and you're a sucker getting scammed. You're being scammed because you don't have your identity, because preachers told you you were an African, and they left the door open for white men to go door to door in the poor black community selling silks to make a new made up version of an old Arab religion where they also enslaved your forefathers and sold you for hundreds of years. You understand? Yeah, that's why they must come into the truth. They must come into the truth so that they can learn. You understand, man? Edwards said he think a lot of brothers are scared to be wrong after they left Christianity, so they just stuck with Islam. That is correct. They are scared to be wrong. That's why they must be battled on the street. Our people do not want to be right. Most of our people don't want to do the right. They don't want to be right because being right means that what I have been taught is a lie. What I'm living is a lie. And if I continue to live the lie, then I don't have responsibility that I must change what I have been taught to do and now stand for the truth. I don't want the responsibility of having to be in the truth, of having to build this nation, of having to fix the black family, of having to deal with the black woman's mouth and the brother's attitude and all the young brothers getting high and wearing the tight pants. Now they in dresses wearing lipsticks. Now, I don't know how you women are ever going to win any female competitions. You can't get your damn cheerleading spot. Some gigantic nigga doing flips with a damn with Lee press-ons and a damn a yaki wig on. He gonna take all your cheerleading spots. You won't be able to win the Miss America. The Miss Maryland is a damn man. He won the damn competition, and you can't beat him because if you beat him, then it's not fair to the trans community that a biological woman has the advantage in a woman's competition about being the best woman. The man has to have the advantage because otherwise you discriminated against him because he's really a man in a dress and you're a real woman and you hurting his feelings, and it's a bunch of damn silliness and confusion. And you women that supported this all throughout middle school and elementary school, helping your very feminine friends become a better woman, teaching them how to do your girl dances, teaching them how to jump rope with you, doing makeup for him, teaching him how to paint his nails and how to talk like a girl, how to wear a dress, how to wear skirts and be a girl and sit like a girl and bend his wrist like you and talk like you. Black women coach these alternative lifestyle men into being and now replacing you. You helped him. You helped Medea. You helped all the brothers at your high school, all throughout your middle school. You helped build this community. And just like the brothers who are Muslims, you don't want to face the fact that you were wrong. You should not have done it. Your actions were wrong. You didn't know better. You did not know what the hell you were doing, and you're wrong. And now you have a responsibility to change your life completely and stand on the site of what is right and the truth so that things can get fixed. And the majority of Blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans would much rather not have the responsibility to making their life about standing for the truth and fixing the lie. That's why Christ said, if ye deny me before men on earth, I will deny you before my Father which is in heaven. That's why he said that. It ain't have nothing to do with saying some magical sentence in the church. I believe that Jesus is Jesus and he died and rose on the third day. Dip some water on me, cry, play a little Kurt Franklin. Bam, we in there. Now I could go back to selling dope and robbing and being the drug cartel, having sex with everybody else's baby mama, shooting all the niggas in the hood, stealing cars, selling crack. Jesus knows my heart. Praying hands. Well, now I got a responsibility. Drug money no more. I can't get that dope money. I can't get the robber money. I can't go and cover myself with Islam and their culture. Now I have the responsibility of building up my own culture. I have to be the one. I got to change. I can't have Christmas anymore. I can't have birthdays and Mother's Day and Father's Day. I can't run to go roll up a backwood every time I feel stressed. I can't go get a Newport Box 100 or some Marlboro menthol lights every time I have stress. Now I got to learn how to actually deal with problems. I can't go shoot everybody every time you make me afraid or I get upset. Now I got to learn how to behave myself. I can't just go have sex with every piece of tail that I see out on the street because she smiled and I like her hair and I like whatever silly superficial thing about her before I go have sex with her and make children with some woman that I don't know, I can't stand, and will be sitting in court fighting this broad to see my children for the next 20 something years. And if I don't pay the bill, I'm going to jail. Well, now I have a responsibility about who I have sex with. I got a responsibility. Now I got to teach my woman how to talk and how to dress so she's not in the street being a monster and a dragon to everybody everywhere she go. I have to deal with that attitude. I can't just have sex with her and throw her away. Now I have responsibilities. I'm held accountable. I can't just be wild everywhere, doing whatever, saying whatever. Allah, and then Allah got it. Give it to Jesus. Jesus take the wheel. You can't be on the street showing your whole naked behind no more, like you trying to get tips, like you selling tail. You understand? Now you have to cover your breasts. Now you have to work to cover your cleavage. Now you got to cover your tail. Now you got to choose different pants that don't show all the drawers coming through your pants. Now you have to wear looser clothes so everybody don't see all your thigh and your box print showing through your damn pants. Now you have to have some modesty. You don't get the attention that all the hoes is going to get because you can't be a hoe no more, because you realize the destruction that hoeing has done to your people. But you can't live that life no more. You don't get the fun from Hot Girl Summer anymore. You don't get the fun from getting high anymore. You don't get the fun from being invited anymore. Christ said, "Blessed are ye when men shall separate their company from you for my sake," because you come into the truth, because now you're going to start and live your life the way that the Lord said. You don't get the benefit and the fun of being in the world, and you also won't die with them in the world either. You won't get shot at traffic stops because you don't smoke weed anymore. A ton of brothers and sisters are not breaking any laws, but there is a race of people that is hunting you, black man, black woman, Latino man, Latino woman, Native American man, Native American woman. You are being hunted. The Arabs are not being hunted in America. America spent 20 years of war fighting the Arabs. The Arabs are in no threat from the Justice Department, the police, the FBI, the CIA, the district attorney. They're not in under any duress. They have not had to alter their life or culture in any way to come to America. They ain't told them you got to learn the language. They ain't told them you got to get a GED and a business degree to open them Arab fried chicken spots. They don't need to go and get thousands of dollars in student loan debt to open a business. They don't have to do none of that stuff they require you to do and call you a deadbeat when you too poor to do it, and they don't have to pay for it. But you in their religion praying to their God, and that's why they over the top of us. Same thing with the oppressor. You understand? That's why you got to come into the ISUPK and truly learn how to serve God. You can't learn anywhere else. The black community tried to go and serve God the way that the Arabs said. They followed Fard Muhammad into serving the God of the Arabs. And then one of those brothers found out that the Arabs' God wasn't for black people either, just like the God that the white man had. And the East Indians' God is not for black people either. It's just to get you to buy their weed. You're buying their weed. You're smoking weed. The hood is filled with brothers and sisters smoking weed. Gas, loud, OG Kush, the AK, the sour diesel, the haze, the purple haze. Everybody getting high, rolling up, smoking good, selling and getting. And guess what? Guess what shows up in your community? As you worshiping the God, a lot of you don't even know you worshiping a God. Smoking weed is the worship of the Hindu goddess Shiva. That's where dreadlocks come from. Dreadlocks is also the culture of the Hindu goddess Shiva. How many black people do you know that have dreadlocks? Just think of that answer to yourself. How many black people and how much dreadlocks do you see in the black community? Then hold that thought in your mind. Then how many Subway sandwich shops open up in your cities? How many 7-Elevens show up in your cities? You still with me? Everybody give me a one. Y'all give me a one. Let me know you still with me. How many 7-Elevens show up in your cities? How many Subway sandwich shops show up in your cities? How many Baskin Robbins show up in your cities? Do you know who owns Subways, Baskin Robbins? The people whose God you worship. Isn't that funny? Is that magic? How did the East Indians know where to come and set up a business in your neighborhood? Because you worship their gods. And here come those people. A white man named Fard Muhammad taught black people to be Muslims, not the Arabs. And later on down the line, who comes and set up Arab chickens? Damn, I gave it to you. Who sets up chicken spots in the black community? Who sets up the Arab carpet stores? Where are you getting all your Percocets, all your Mollies, all your codeine and your syrup and your heroin and your perks? What Future say? Percocet, Molly Percocet, Percocet, Molly Percocet, Waukesha, Wacky. All your rappers rapping about lean and Wacky and Waukesha. You understand? Yes, no, not heathen. Brother. Nuh-uh. That's too vague. You worship the Arabs' God, and the Arabs show up in your community with businesses. The Arabs are who you pay your rent to now. You worship the East Indians' God. You get their dreadlocks, you smoke their weed, you roll up, you take their culture, you get your hookah. Who knows what a hookah lounge is? You see those hookah lounges showing up everywhere now. That damn hookah lounge from an opium den. Everybody come to this one place with nice, smooth carpet where they can just sit and chill somewhere and just get high all day. Get high, back to back. Get high. Now they all over your communities. Where did they come from? They didn't come from you. They didn't come from your daddy. They didn't come from your uncles. Not Man, not Big Nate, not Ricky, not Grandma, not Gladys, not Haley. They didn't come from Maria or Jose or Oscar or Javier. Where the hell did they come from? They came from the people that you invited because you took the gods of the other nations of people. You invited them. So they knew that they had a home to come and set up amongst you. But they didn't do what you do. They didn't give their soul to love you, to say, well, these are our Muslim brothers. Let's take them in. Let's share all of this wealth and this power that we have. They didn't do that because that's a fake world. In the real world, no one invites you to join their race of people, to be a part of their family. They invite your money and your resources to make you, like a dummy, think that you are a part of their family, while they rob you blind and bleed you dry, and you just smiling like the dog, getting his belly rubbed, wagging his tail, getting his head patted, throwing him a treat, putting a little bit of kibble in your bowl. You just eating it up there. Allah, Allah, Allah. In the name of Jesus, blood of Jesus, Jesus. The Honorable Elijah, the Honorable Fard Muhammad, and the Tufan. And long as I got Jesus, don't need nobody else. And I'm saved and sanctified and covered in the blood. And you got all of some heathen's culture. None of it is your culture, your people. The Black Panther movie come out, you Wakanda forever. Wakanda forever. Anybody that has any sort of anything, you'll go gravitate to it and you'll make it a part of yourself because you're empty. You're empty. You don't know who you are. You don't know who you're supposed to follow. You don't know your God. You don't know your language. You don't know your culture. You don't have your identity. You don't know your history. You don't know anything about yourself, your people, your ancestors. That's why everyone in your family believes something completely different, but y'all all the same family. One brother's a Muslim, one brother's a Christian, your other brother is a damn woman. He believes in the LGBT. This brother here want to be a damn Rasta, growing dreadlocks and smoking weed, believing that that's the culture. None of it has nothing to do with your race of people. Whole family, whole city divided. Like that's a curse from the Lord. That's why the Lord said it. That is an effect of white supremacy, because your identity was stolen from you by slavery. They beat it out of you. They beat it out of your forefathers. They whipped it and tortured it and buck broke it and branded and cut the eyes and the tongues out to make you speak English and Spanish and Portuguese and Dutch and French and be Jacques. You understand? And be Pierre. You understand? And be Reuben and Robert and Dante and Kenneth. You understand? They forced that on you. And it was a curse from God, because when the Lord was blessing us, we did not obey him. We refused. And the Lord said that he would punish us. And we agreed to the terms of that covenant before he blessed us. We agreed to it, full well knowing all of the consequences, but we never got to live the consequences. Now we're living them. And when our King returns, he is going to fully redeem us from the curse of the law, which we are still under right now as a people. It didn't magically go away because Christ gave his life. We had not even gone into slavery on cargo slave ships during the time that Christ walked the earth, died, resurrected. We hadn't even been into slavery yet. That was a future prophecy that did not end just because Christ gave his life. He gave us an opportunity to come back and rebuild our nation. That is the same mission he set his disciples on. That is exactly the same mission the disciples of Christ are doing, only in the Israelite school of universal practical knowledge. And if you are not in the ISUPK, you are not doing what God commanded you to do, to fix your people, to rebuild your nation, and to make sure that all of the evil that is swallowing up the Black, Latino, and Native American community has opposition so that it doesn't get everyone. That's why you're supposed to be in the UPK. Now you have a choice. You can continue to be the brother or sister that was wrong, that continues to live the wrong life, that celebrates the death of the Native Americans every Thanksgiving, until one day your mother invites your new boyfriend, your baby daddy that she likes, and you show up to Thanksgiving with your new man. And then they get into a shootout in the parking lot for Thanksgiving that you're not supposed to celebrate, which happens every single year. You understand? You can find out then. Or you can listen to the prophets of God now and come into the truth so that you can start and serve the Most High, because time is running out for America. Time is running out. The Lord is getting ready to bring America in the Third World War, before a nuclear war, which is prophesied in the Bible to happen. There's going to be a civil war. The Lord said it. That's in the Bible. I didn't make that up. That's not something we're promoting. We're not advertising war. We're not advertising violence. We're not telling anybody to go and commit any violence. We obey more laws and rules than you and everybody else you know in your life and have ever met here in the ISUPK. God said he's going to cause it. There's going to be war on every continent. There's going to be war in every country. There's going to be civil war. There's going to be unrest with the people against the government, worse than January 6th, worse than all the Black Lives Matter and the COVID riots. It's in the Bible, just like COVID was in the Bible. That Commander General Johanna warned and nobody listened to, and then the world shut down when the Lord sent COVID. COVID is coming back. Worse plagues than COVID are coming on top of World War III, on top of the Civil War, on top of nuclear war. Then Christ is going to return. You understand? So keep going. So now we got this here. What happened? Jeremiah 17:4. The Lord said, and thou, meaning you, even thyself. That's why it says, even thyself, meaning, yes, you shall discontinue from the heritage that I gave thee. Our heritage comes from the Lord, not the Arabs, not Fard Muhammad, not the Africans, the East Indians, the Moon Man, the Space Man, the Arab Man, the Rasta Man. That's not our heritage. Our heritage comes from God, and the records of our people are in the Bible. And you will never learn your true heritage and how to live out your true heritage outside of the ISUPK. and I will cause thee to serve thine enemies. That's what we're doing now. That's who you pay your mortgage to, and your rent, and your taxes. If you want some drawers or some socks or some glasses, or you want to get some hair care products, you want to buy soap, everything that you need, you must go to your oppressor. Even if you go to a Black person or Latino, Native American, you go to their store, their shop, they cannot have a store and a shop without permission from America. If they catch you without a license doing business here in America, they're going to arrest you and fine you, probably beat you, steal your stuff, throw you in jail, and fine you. You might never get your business back. You're going to have to pay back taxes, all of those things, because you are in captivity. All of the other races of people are free here. They have a home, their language, their name, their identity. They have all of that. You do not, because the Lord said, I will cause you to discontinue from your heritage. That's why if you ask 10 Black people, where are you from? What is your identity? Where do you come from? What is your culture? Who is your God? What is his name? They can't tell you. Some Arab battled, some Black Muslim brother argued with us for about 3 hours. I said, brother, what is God's name that you're talking about? It's Allah. I said, well, you said, well, that's not a name. He said, well, he has 99 names. It's just a title. I said, okay, well, what is God's name? He don't know. He don't know what God's name is. He don't know who the hell he's serving. But he's so adamant about it because if he's wrong, he must change. And he has a responsibility to undo his support of the lie that he and the rest of his people follow. Now is work. Now you got warfare. That's why we're not building a church in here. You're here building Christ's army. The Lord is a man of war. It takes warfare to build this nation. You understand? And I will cause thee to serve thine enemies in the land which thou knowest not. For ye have kindled a fire in mine anger. We made the Lord angry, which shall burn forever, meaning it's going to seem like you're in captivity forever. Why? That's a result of white supremacy, of our oppressor ruling over us. Here's another one. Jeremiah 12 and 19. I mean 12 and 9. The Lord said, my heritage, meaning my people, my family, my children, my lineage is as unto me as a speckled bird, meaning this is the same bird, but it's in different colors. This one bird of mine, this bird is light. That bird there is kind of yellow. That bird there is very light. We used to call it light bright. Brothers and sisters, very, very light skin. That bird there is very dark skin. It's got a brown or a sandy brown, a cocoa, a caramel brown, different shaders. You understand? A very dark, a cocoa, all kind of shades and colors. You understand? That does not make you a different race of people. Right? Our oppressors' culture taught you that skin color meant you were a different race of people. Skin color does not determine who you are. Your father does. You understand? All right. The Lord said, my heritage is unto me as a speckled bird, a bird with many colors, even though it's the same bird. So the Lord is equating the nation of Israel to a bird, his bird. The birds, plural, round about, meaning the other birds that are not my bird, the birds that are round about her. What are the other birds? The other nations of people that are around her are against her. I didn't make this up. God said the other nations of people are against you. You understand? Do you know why Samuel Colt made the AR-15? Why they made the AR-15? Do you know why? Do you know why they made the Winchester repeating rifle and the revolver? Why Mikhail Kalashnikov made the AK-47? Do you know why they did that? Why Strom Ruger made the Ruger firearms line? Because they have enemies. Do you know why Taekwondo was invented? Why Muay Thai was invented? Why karate was invented? Why Kung Fu was invented? Because they needed to have an advantage against their enemies. Do you know why the lion has claws and has a roar and sharp teeth and hundreds of pounds of muscle? Why do buffalo have horns and they eat grass? What are they doing with these horns? Because they have enemies. Why does a rose have thorns? It's a beautiful flower. Why does a rose have thorns? Because even a flower has a right to defend itself. Because when you see that beautiful flower, sister, what are you going to do to that beautiful flower when you see it? What are you going to do to that flower? Is everybody going to look at the flower and say, oh, this flower is so beautiful, look at it. It's so wonderful. I need the sisters to answer. What's going to happen? Somebody sees these wonderful flowers. What are you going to do to that flower? You understand? Young sister Shelley, Imada, Anna, Raya. What's going to happen? Tawabaf, what is going to happen to that flower? Pick it up. What happens to that beautiful flower when you pick it up? You're going to pick it up to smell it. Ah, it's so beautiful. Smells so wonderful. What happens to the flower, though? What's the flower going to do? What's going to happen to the flower when you pick it up? That's right, sister. You're going to pick it up. The flower is going to die. So if the flower don't want to be picked up, the flower is going to need something to protect itself from you. The flower is going to need some thorns. The flower is going to need to excrete some pollen so that if you stay the hell away from it so you don't snatch it up out the ground. Otherwise, if it doesn't give you allergies and make it difficult for you to breathe because of all the damn pollen, or because the thorns are going to pluck you in your fingers, because the flower doesn't want to die. You want to smell this beautiful flower. You want to put it in your hair. You want to put it on your dress, make a corsage out of it. But the flower wants to live. It doesn't want to be your decoration, but it looks so beautiful on you. But the flower wants to live. So the Lord gave the flower thorns. So now, guess what you have to do if you want that rose, sister? What are you going to have to do if you want that rose? What are you going to have to do to it? You want the rose. The rose don't want to die. What are you going to have to do? How are you going to get it? How are you going to get it, sister? How are you going to get it? You want to pick it up. It's beautiful. It's beautiful like you beautiful. Well, how are you going to get to it? It's down there. It's got thorns. How will you get it? Plant my own? Well, you're going to plant it, sister, but that even though you plant it, it still don't want to die. How are you going to get that rose that spent all of its life being a seed and growing and busting out the seed and making roots and stretching towards the sun and bringing out leaves and bringing out petals and growing towards the sun and brightening and glowing and getting bigger and strong and growing thorns and strengthening the stalk and the stem and the root? How will you get it? What do you have to do to that flower? Glove up and use scissors. That's right. You're going to have to go to war with that flower to get it. You're going to have to fight it. Suppose you got grass and dandelions growing in your land, growing on your ground. The dandelion want to live, but you want them dandelions and that crabgrass and those weeds, you want them not to live on your property. What are you going to do? You're going to have to fight it. You're going to have to battle it. And every time it rains, you are going to have to fight the grass because you want your grass this way and the grass doesn't give a damn. The grass wants to live. You want it to not live. Now you have to fight it. The flower wants to live. You don't want the flower to live. You want to pick it up so you can put it on yourself and smell it. What do you have to do to that flower? You got to fight that flower. You got to fight it. The fish wants to swim. You want to eat the fish. The fish don't want to be in your frying pan to go in your oven for you to fillet it and grill it and stew it. The fish doesn't want that. The fish wants to live and swim, but you want the fish. What do you have to do to get that fish? You're going to have to get in a net. You're going to have to cast a reel, set out some bait, trap it, catch it. Why? So you can kill it and devour it. Why? Why is it like that? Because life is about warfare. If you want muscle, you're going to have to fight to get muscle. You want to lose weight, you're going to have to fight to lose weight. You want to gain weight, you're going to have to put in work to gain weight. If you want to run faster than you run now, you are going to have to fight to improve your breathing and your posture and your muscles and your time and your endurance. You're going to have to fight. If you want to learn how to walk and you some little baby that everyone has been carrying you everywhere, but now you want to go places that they don't want you to go. They don't want to carry you anymore. What are you going to have to do, little baby? You're going to have to get up and fight to stand up straight. You're going to have to fight to get those bones in order. You're going to have to build muscles. You've been a fat little blubbering ball of drool and screaming. Well, now you're going to have to stand up. You're going to have to be strong. You're going to have to learn how to use some things you ain't used before. Well, you're going to have to fight. Life is about warfare. Everything that God created understands this except these 12 tribes. We're the only thing that's not fighting for the dominance and survival of our people. Everybody else is making weapons. They doing studies. They learning different martial arts. They trying to make bigger, stronger people. They taking steroids. They taking all kind of things. They lying and stealing, taking other people's culture to try to incorporate it for their own. They stealing from other people, taking their land, taking their resources. Everybody fighting for survival and dominance of their people for their team. Only thing God created to think we on everybody's team is Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. That's because you are the people on the earth that are lost. Your people are the only thing in God's creation that does not understand real life. It doesn't understand real life. That's why you think it doesn't matter who you have sex with. You understand? In the real life, everyone knows that sex makes babies. Your people don't plan for babies in the world. So our oppressor finds a way to deal with his dogs that are in heat, that don't plan on having puppies. He finds a way to plan their parenthood. You got all these puppies running around. Nobody planned for these puppies. Nobody planned for these kittens. My cat got in heat and she broke out the house. And now she's pregnant with all of these kittens. Well, you don't have to take care of those kittens. You don't have to have the responsibility of caring for those kittens. I'll help you plan parenthood. You pregnant with those kittens? Come, I know you can't control yourself. You can't control who you have sex with. You can't control who you get that tail up to. You can't control where you stick your rod. Come on down here. I'll put several of these in all of your communities, and we'll just unalive the babies for you because you are an uncontrollable wild animal that will have sex anywhere with anyone, and nobody has any second thoughts about it. That's what you have to do to your dog. Otherwise, there'll be dogs everywhere. That's what you have to do to your cat. Otherwise, your cat will have a litter of kittens and your kittens will have kittens. By 3 years, you'll have hundreds of kittens everywhere. Well, the Lord gave us rules so that we are not looked at as wild, uncontrollable animals that don't know how to govern themselves the way the real world works. He gave us rules. Our culture has the answer for all of these things. It has a way to repair all of the damage that has been done and a way to fix everything going forward. That is why every brother and sister needs to come into here to get the training as early as possible to become a part of the solution and serve the Most High before the problem overtakes you. Because it's coming. You understand? It's already here, but it's getting bigger and bigger. You understand? These curses shall overtake thee. That's what the Lord said. They will overtake thee. There's 2 million of us sitting in prison. I always remember Matazar and I went to the courthouse, and the amount of people that just simply don't understand the concept of responsibility, and they're sitting in jail just because they were irresponsible. Just because they're irresponsible, they're sitting in jail. The Lord said, Deuteronomy 28:15, and it shall come to pass if thou wilt not hearken, if you will not listen to the voice of the Lord thy God, the voice of the Lord, the Most High, thy God. Every other race of people has their own God. The Arabs have a God for them with their culture and their language. The Asians have their own gods and their culture for their language. The oppressor has his own God in his culture and his language. The East Indians have their own God and their culture and their language. You understand? The Africans have their own gods and their culture and their language. Well, the God of this Bible is the God of blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans. And you are an Israelite if your father is one of those. To the voice of the Lord is to observe and to do all his commandments and his statutes, which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee. These were curses from the Most High. He said, cursed shalt thou be in the city, and cursed shalt thou be in the field. In the field, we were picking cotton and cutting sugar cane. In the city, we getting gunned down at school. You got to bring a gun to school just to make sure you make it home safe. That's how it was when I went to high school. You understand? Quarter of the kids in the cafeteria is sitting in the cafeteria with firearms. You understand? Why? Because the Lord said we would be cursed in the city. We got Percocets in the city, AIDS in the city, child molestation in the city, kidnappings in the city, shootings in the city, police brutality in the city. We left the field down in the country to move up north in the city and found out we were cursed up here too. This is a result of us not obeying the Most High. Cursed shall be thy basket in thy store. We don't realize that we are supposed to have our own stores. You're not supposed to go to another nation of people and their store to get food. That is a curse. You understand? You going to a Chinese man saying, hey, this is what I want to eat. That is a curse. You are supposed to go to a brother or a sister in one of our restaurants to eat our food, to give our money to our brother and our sister for their family that is a part of our community. That's why they don't eat your food. That's why the Arabs don't come eat your food. Unless they're hanging out with you in the hood getting high like French Montana, they're not going to eat your food. You understand? If tell me, if you've been to a carryout, who has ever been to a carryout and you went to the carryout and you saw Arabs in the carryout with you getting wings and fries? Who went to a carryout and saw Asians in the carryout getting the spring egg rolls and the egg foo young? What is the other food all the blacks and Latinos like? The 3 wings and fries and rice, wings and rice. Who went to the carryout and saw other Asians in there ordering with you? You didn't. You didn't see the East Indians come in there and order when you went. They weren't in there with you, right? Who went to a Subway and ever seen East Indians anywhere except behind the register getting money from you? You didn't see them there. You know why? Because they're there to take resources from you. They're not there to give it back. That's what you are supposed to be doing. Take resources for your people. You understand? That's what you're supposed to do. But our oppressive supremacy taught you to accept seeing the other nations of people providing you food and clothes and shelter and everything else. But God said that's not normal. He said that's a curse. He said you should not do that. You understand? Like, this is why the Lord wants us to train our mind to rethink what we've been seeing everywhere. The Lord said in Deuteronomy 28 and 43 that the stranger that is within thee shall get up above thee very high, and thou shalt come down very low. What does that mean? That means he's going to get rich and powerful, and then you are going to get weaker and weaker. Why? Because he's setting up shop in your community. Like, these are effects, and the oppressor invited them here so that they can feed on you too. That's why the Lord said the other birds are against you. You don't feel like they're against you. You just feel like they're just doing business. They're doing business. Everybody got to eat and this and that, but they're not there eating. They're there feeding on you. It's not the same. But we've been accustomed to believing and accepting that because our oppressor taught us that this is the way life's supposed to be. Just like I taught the fish in my fish tank, this is what life's supposed to be. You swim around in that box, you swim around in all four corners of the tank, there's bubbles over here, some food falls out the sky, you just swim around until more food comes, you go to sleep, you wake up, that's life. I made that life for them. Well, the oppressor created a false life for us. This is the real world that the Lord has been trying to wake us up to. All right. So we up over the time. I'm going to go ahead and end it there. All right. Most High in Christ, Lord willing, we'll pick up here next week where we left off and talked about more of the effects of our oppressor ruling over us there. All right. So wrap it up. We're going to go ahead and do the announcements. We at the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge. We start out at 1 West 125th Street in Harlem, New York. We're not affiliated with any other Israelite groups. All right, if you're not in the ISUPK, you're not in the truth. Rule for new brother and sister. When a brother and sister comes into the school, they're off limits for 6 months. They're to be saluted only. They're here to learn and share themselves with the world. After that 6-month period, if a brother or sister has an interest in a particular person, they're to get counsel from the head to speak to a brother or sister. After this 6-month period, a brother or sister will then get permission from the head to marry. Tithes, which is a commandment. 10% of every penny of any increase the Most High gives to you, you give to the school. Go right to ISUPK.com. You'll be able to post it. They'll send an email, right receipt right to your email address. Make sure you pay your tithes, 10% of every penny that the Lord gives you. 90% is yours. 10% belongs to the Lord. He gives thee the power to gain and achieve wealth. That comes from the Most High, all right? Upcoming high holy days. The next high holy days is coming up. You'll be notified. Should be the memorial blowing of trumpets. Everybody will be notified in that time coming up there. All right. And lastly, any brother wants to become a trooper in the school, they're to be in all black boots, shirt, pants, headband, war scarf. Contact the ISUPK school and whatever city and state that you're in. Let them know that you want to be a trooper in the ISUPK. Make sure you call the school and let them know. Do not just sit and watch classes online. Month after month, year after year, contact the school. Let them know you want to be a brother or sister in the school. If you do want to be a brother or sister in the school, even if you're watching online, all of our ISUPK numbers and locations are posted all over the internet. You can find them very easily if you want to. They're all there. We got social media everywhere. We're all over the internet, everywhere else. Any sister cannot be a trooper, but you do need to make sure that you call the school, wherever city or state, country you're in, and let them know you want to be assisted in the school so that they can tell you exactly what you need to do and get in contact with who is in charge over your zone. All right. And with that, one courtesy salute to the brothers. Yahweh Hashem Yahushua Barakathum. To the sisters, Yahweh Shemar Al Athan. Bahashem Yahushua. With that, tune in right here, Friday night Hebrew language class. All right. Learn your Lashawan Kodash. Read, write, speak the Hebrew, our language, our culture. You waited your whole life to find out who the hell you are. Now you know your identity, who you are, where you're from, who's your people, your history, your records. Don't be slack on learning your language. Get in class, all right? With that, shalom. The water, y'all tuning in. Like, share, subscribe, all right? And then here y'all get it on. Lord Christ be with y'all. All right.
Yeah.
Talk to me. Played the horn of Lord and served other gods. Remember the days of old, we the lost tribes. They don't believe the Bible. They say a white man wrote it, but still celebrate them holidays from white men, don't they? Like Christmas missing Thanksgiving appetites. I don't even see my closest family half the time. Going out ain't an option, I won't compromise. I got integrity and more heart than Valentine. Kyrie tweeted a book they sell on Amazon, owned by the same folks that told him to apologize. Remember, slaves couldn't read, wasn't allowed. So it's meaning when I tell you I'm black and I'm proud. Murdered us with the sword, that's how we learned religion. Community standards violate my First Amendment. Discontinue from my heritage under these bastards. Life a bitch, they make up lies and give you public lashes. I understand they confused by who the devil is. Why my people get so mad when I tell them this? Valley of dry bones, my niggas skeletons. It's hectic out there, hope you checking on your relatives. Brotherhood, that's what my weapon is. And now I never let these crackers take it from me. Real talk, you probably never heard this all of your life. Be careful, cause that thing you love, it'll cost you your life. Long as we got each other, my nigga. Cause we build this shit on brotherhood. Long as we got each other, my nigga.
Yeah.
We build this shit.
Nigga, I done lost family, I done lost friends. Day one, niggas thought was riding to the end. Still showed up, put in that work. Hide behind a smile while I'm walking with this hearse. Some nights I felt alone, most nights I felt cold. Some nights I drove around, I ain't wanna go home. Nigga, I ain't never been, nah, I ain't never fold. Follow orders like a soldier doing what I'm told. Even when the council wasn't making any sense, I ain't never doubted, I just put it to the test. Days I was fucked up and down to my last cent. Reaching in my pockets, only coming up with lint. I'm talking even on the days that I couldn't pay my rent. I put it down for my brothers, ain't spared no expense. If I ever got bent, caused an offense, please forgive you, brother, Lord, that ain't what I meant. See that brotherhood a weapon, fight against deception. When something taken from you, then it's just a blessing. Shorty really loved me, gave me everything she got. And I'm sorry, baby girl, if I ever broke your heart. Man, mistakes that I made, don't know if they'll fade. Moving with a heavy heart, living with the pain. Take away the shame, wash away the stain. Praying to the Lord for the days that I was Cain. Sheesh.
Long as we got each other, my nigga. Cause we build this shit on brotherhood. Long as we got each other, my nigga. Cause we build this shit on brotherhood.